My name is Steve Walters, and my co-host and esteemed friend, Matt DeMaio, is with us tonight from Be Smarter Faster, where you can learn everything faster and easier. In this video, we're going to be discussing 3 important parts of goal setting that's going to greatly benefit you in school, work, and life, along with a great bonus that could be a real life changer when you need it later. Our goal is to provide you with immediately, and I mean immediately usable techniques, not things that you have to study for months and years and decades, but things that you can use literally tonight, tomorrow, today, that help you and propel you ahead while keeping your stress level as low as possible. All right, let's talk about goals. So the short-term goal. In my world, a short-term goal is something that you can accomplish literally in 30 seconds to maybe a day, to maybe a week, or depending a month, but not much longer than a month. But it's based on who you are and what season of life you're in. In long-term goals, these are things that are a month, maybe a semester if you're still in school, a year. It could be a decade. It could be 20 years. If somebody wants to save up money to buy a house when they're 16 to 18 years old, it's definitely not a short-term goal. Unless you hit the lottery, you got a killer website that you're making a lot of money on.
Well, they can keep a short-term goal to put aside a set percentage of their income each week. And so that would be something that, okay, this week I accomplished that goal, and the following week I accomplished the following goal, and so on.
Yeah, and Jack puts in a good thing here. I need to be disciplined and set some short-term goals, focusing too much on the big picture. And Jack, you are, let me tell you, I've got 70 big pictures on my calendar. I can't show you them because I turned off my calendar, but I have 70 big picture things. And each of those in my head, and sometimes in paper, I use Post-it notes. You can see, where's my Post-it notes behind me? This little, it's hiding behind the mic. These are the cool colors that I've got. Those are my Post-it notes, and those go all over my desk. Those become my short-term goals. And those I knock out. And then as I get them done towards the big picture, I crumple them up and throw them over in the recycle bin. Definitely, Jack, short-term goals definitely are the foundation for the big goals. And it's a state of mind. That's a short-term goal, by the way. I have a short-term goal to make my short-term goals and keep them short too. Don't let them get too big. All right, let's move on to the next part of goals. Smart goals.
Right, yeah, exactly. You want to define what a goal is, because a lot of times I think that people have difficulty distinguishing or differentiating between goals and hopes and wishes.
But a SMART goal is this. It's specific, it's manageable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's time-bound. Now, Matt, what do you have more? What's the SMART, the SMART? Which one of those do you think is the most important part?
Well, it's like, what's the most important part of your car? It's
door.
it's the part that's not working when you need it.
Yeah.
Some people say the key, the steering wheel, the nut holding the steering wheel, the gas.
I think the door, because if you can't get in, you can't drive. So.
Well, it's whatever's not working at the time you need it, because that's what's going to stop you from getting where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So all of these are going to be equally important. But you said manageable for M, and I use the word measurable. You need to be able to define it in a measurement. So specific and measurable. So, for example, if you said, my goal is to make more money, and you were walking down the street and you saw a penny laying on the ground and you picked it up, well, you accomplished your goal. You now have more money, that penny. But that doesn't really accomplish what you had in mind, though. The T is something that I want to point out, that it's time-bound. There needs to be a time limit. When you take a look at professional sports that have a time limit, when are the most exciting plays of the game made? They're played, the players do their very best as the clock is running out. And so when you have a time limit on your goal, it forces you into a more intense and more disciplined state that, hey, this is something I plan to accomplish. Time is running out. And that's when you put forth your very best effort. So the time deadline is certainly a big and important part of having goals that you actually achieve.
And the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear time and goals is procrastination, because sometimes, hey, Don't compete with me on procrastination because I will win. I've already won. Don't play the game. I've been doing it for decades. But because I know I'm a procrastinator, I can use that to my benefit. The problem is, if you don't do it just right out of practice, it can backfire really bad on you. So you got to be careful. If you know you're a procrastinator, go take my free course. I've got that free mini course. It's just a little foundation, but it's just that little bit of spark to get you going, to make you realize that, yeah, I am a procrastinator, and here's some things that you can do about it. And again, that link's already in the description, so you can see that. But yeah, definitely time bound, because people that set goals, if they don't have a time bound, well, I'm 95 years old now, and yep, still didn't do those 100,000 things I've been trying to do since I was 15.
Yeah,
It's a little late.
It becomes a wish list without a deadline.
Yeah, it's a bucket list without a bottom. All right, speaking of holding water, missions. I think of missions. So mission statement is another part of goals.
That was a heck of a segue, Steve.
I would, it's like analogies, man. They're like a dime a dozen, but with inflation, they're like 25 cents now. So I used to be better at them, but anyhow. So mission statements. Now, a mission statement, you've seen these things everywhere. Everybody's seen them, but you don't realize what they are. And next time you're in a restaurant, look around the menu. Our mission is, look on the front door of a bank. Our mission is, look in a car dealership if you're going there. Our mission is, anywhere, any business you go to, somewhere on the front door, the front window, on the desk, somewhere behind the desk, somewhere where the people are, you will see our mission is to, and it's to do something. Now, Matt, I know that you have a personal mission statement. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Sure. It's interesting that you talked about restaurants, because I'm here in Tampa Bay, and this is the home of the Outback Steakhouse. People think that Outback started in Australia or something. No, it was started here in Tampa, Florida. And the original restaurant is one that I would take my wife and daughter to. And you are absolutely right. As soon as you walk in the door, on a big framed plaque is their mission statement. I can't quote it off the top of my head right now, but it is something that I noticed, that it is something that new customers or all customers will see when they first come in. Now, in terms of my own personal mission statement, this is something that I created as a result of my YouTube channel, because I really needed to get more clearly focused on what in the world am I really looking to accomplish with my channel. And so after really giving it a lot of thought and writing out a few different ones, I came up with this, that I am on a mission to make a positive, lasting difference in the lives of students of all ages around the world. And so you'll notice how specific it is. A positive, lasting difference. I don't want to just make a difference. I want to make a positive, lasting difference. Mm-hmm. And not to just everybody. I want to make, for students, people that are actually studying stuff, but not just kids in school, students of all ages. Where? Here in Florida? No, I want to do it around the world. And so I made it as specific, and I kept refining it down. And having that keeps me on track to knowing if I'm going to publish something, if I'm going to put something out there, am I fulfilling what it is that I said I was going to do? That goal. Am I fulfilling my mission?
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the things that I look for in a mission statement is the brevity, the conciseness of it. It needs to be usually one sentence. It can be two, but generally one sentence, as short as it can be, to the point. Think about this. Your personal mission statement needs to catch people's attention in 8 to 10 seconds or less. We'll call it 6 to 8 seconds because of the modern thinking. It's got to catch your attention fast. It's got to be less than 100 words. And believe me, 100 words is a lot of words. If you don't believe me, I've got an example here if we want to hear it. It also needs to provide the basic answers to the who, what, where, when, why, and how questions people will have about you. The journalist questions, these are the basic journalist questions. If you can answer that fast.
So let me ask you a question while we're talking about this.
Okay.
Is it your thinking that you want people to use their mission statement and notify other people about their mission statement? Or is it more something, especially as a student, that's not something that I had really considered before? Or sometimes I'll talk about my mission statement with, if people ask me about my channel, but it's not something that I go around telling people.
No, so you don't just walk up to, hey, my name's Steve. You want to hear my mission statement? It doesn't quite work that way. No, there's a couple things with the mission statement. One is the most profitable one to a student is you graduate, you get your degree, you get the job. To get the job, you got to do this little thing called an interview. And there's that question that says, tell me something about yourself. Oh, well, no, you can't say because is a swear word. Don't say it. You say, here's what the mission statement. It's here. It's memorized. I mean, you practiced this stuff before. But the other part of a mission statement is the silent part. It's the internal part of who you are. When you have a personal mission statement, it's me. I mean, it's you, but I can't be in your shoes, but you have to say, this is my mission statement. This is what I stand for. Nobody else in the world even has to ever hear it or see it. It's in your head. It's in your soul. It's in your being. It's who you are. It's your go-to place when things get tough. Think about it that way. It's when you have to retreat back to your internal safe space, but it's in your head. My mission is to do this. Yeah, the world is ending around me right now. I don't care because this is my mission statement. Boom, that's focus. That's hyper-focus. So that's what it is to me. That's what I want people to get out of it.
Yeah, see, now that's useful.
Does that sound too passionate? Should I go harder? I can.
That is a useful way of using something that could be easily passed off as just merely philosophical. It helps you define yourself, because if you don't know who you are, you're going to have a tough time in life.
Yeah, and if we get knocked off track, which happens a lot, I mean, if you're a YouTube creator, you know this instantly. You may not admit it, but it's hard. It is really, really tough and hard.
I think it's even harder for students. You've got so many different classes, so many different options to pursue in life.
And you have life, yeah.
You're young, you're getting started, and you've got so many different potential options that these are going to be important decisions to make. And if you don't really have a clear grasp of who you are and really what's important to you and what it is that you want to dedicate yourself to, you're going to have a hard time in life.
Yeah, you know what? I think I should read this example I have. I wrote this from a student base. This is exactly a 100-word mission statement. Okay, this is what I call the rough draft. But I want you to listen to everything that I put into here. I'm not going to go back through it, but listen carefully. So, especially if you're a student, listen to this. I am a full-time student who is committed and proactively involved in my own success to graduate college with at least a 3.0 GPA in business management, so I can enter into an MBA program that will give me the best chances of being hired into an entry-level position. I aim to develop usable skills and practical experiences at every opportunity available, all while attending all of my classes, completing all of my assignments on time, and with the highest of standards. I will be seeking out new information while expanding and deepening the knowledge I have already acquired. That's exactly 100 words. Now, it may be a little bit clunky, and it is. If you read it silently, it's smooth. But this gives you an idea of how much information you can pack into 100 words. Now, if somebody said, write me a paper of what you stand for, give me your mission statement. Boom, there it is. 100 words or less. You nailed it. So I want you to think of this. Think of your personal mission statement as a very descriptive and concise operating manual for yourself. How's that for a good analogy? It's your operating manual.
Operating manual, yeah.
It's your go-to. It's when something doesn't work. Well, usually we go to YouTube, but if you're in your car, there's that thing called a glove box. There's actually usually an instruction manual in there of how to turn on your flashers or how to change a tire or what to do when that one light comes on that you've never seen before. But it's your own operating manual. And it's good to print it out and hang it somewhere. I have a bulletin board over here, but back in the 80s, we used to hang everything up in our little cubicles. And this kind of stuff went up on that wall. And when you walked into somebody's cubicle, you knew exactly what their mission was. Now, for that bonus I told you about, I was holding back on the philosophical stuff. We were kind of feeding into this one, a little bit of funnel work there. So here's the bonus. Personal philosophy statements. How to create one. Now, this statement is all about you. Now, I'm going to go like this. I hate the air quotes, but it's a statement. It's not a sentence. It is literally a paragraph to several pages long. This is your manuscript. This is your life. So in this personal philosophy statement, you need to include your basic beliefs. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Your concepts about issues that matter most to you. And it describes your attitudes about as many topics and issues that directly pertain to you, and also that they all support your goals. Okay, so this one, and this can be changed throughout life. This is not written in titanium. It's not laser etched into glass. This is, you can handwrite it, you can type it out, and it's supposed to change. It's a living document, if you will. Think about it that way. So let's start this off. A belief. A belief is something that you accept as true.
Well, that is certainly an accurate statement. One of the things that I also talk about in discussing beliefs, that beliefs are a personal choice. And I think that a lot of times people aren't aware that you actually choose what you believe. Now, sometimes you inherit beliefs. So, for example, let me make this very real. You're born, your parents raise you in one religion, and then later on in life, you get to, I don't know, college age or so, you begin questioning the world a little bit more. Have you ever met people that changed religions or changed political parties? You go from one way of looking at the world, and then certain things happen to you, and then you realize that what you believed in before was letting you down or was leading you in a false direction. And then you went, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I need to change my, what it is that I believe in. But I want to throw the ball back to you on this.
Yeah, beliefs are definitely things that we accept as true. So religion is a great thing. So do you accept that the sky is up and the ground is down? Well, that's a belief, right? Well, you can see it, you can feel it, you can jump up and down and feel it. Beliefs are, people go, I believe that. Oh, okay. I believe that, I'm going to go out on a limb here, that all politicians must lie at one point or another in their careers. That's a belief. And I accept that as true.
You really went out on a
I did. I kept it nice, though. I kept it nice. Politicians say, I'm going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. But they can't always do that because one person may say, but that's a lie. He said that. Well, the context was there, but maybe the perspective was different. So again, that's why I said I'm going out on a limb here. But I believe that all students have the capability to earn A's. I just do. I believe they have that capability. But I believe that students could succeed with just a little bit more effort.
Well, I think that people will change beliefs in the face of new experience and new evidence. For example, and it's not even just evidence. It is sometimes it's experience. Let's use being in love as an example, or having friends. Not everybody's been in love, but I think that everybody can relate to this. You're in love with somebody, and that other person cheats on you or does something stupid and loses your trust, and then you fall out of love with them. So you believed that you loved them and that they loved you, and then something happened where you realize that no, they didn't love you, and so now your belief completely changed. Or friends, maybe you've got some friends around you where you believe that they've really got your back, that these are people that really care about you and care and have your best interest at heart. And then you find out that some of those friends are talking trash about you behind your back. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, I used to believe that they were my friend, and I come to find out they're not my friend. And so your belief then changes from they're my friend to they're not my friend. So it's not just philosophical things that'll change your belief, but it's actual practical, tangible things in the real world that can smack you down and give you a dose of reality.
Yeah, speaking of reality, something else I was thinking about is that a belief is something that you feel so strongly about that you're willing to make sacrifices to uphold your convictions rather than change them also.
Oh,
how many
say
thousands?
That say that again.
A belief is something that you feel so strongly about that you're willing to make sacrifices to uphold your convictions rather than change them.
I want everybody to just kind of like just take that in for a moment. That's some profound and deep stuff right there.
Yeah, there we go. So there it is up on the screen. So I think there's been, I'm going to guess we're a couple 100,000, maybe a few million people have died in time because of this. Having been in Italy, being in the Colosseum, knowing what has happened in those parts of the world, those are some pretty strong beliefs, for somebody
martyrs.
Yeah.
I mean, literally being willing to die for what you believe in.
Yeah. Now, we're not asking you to do that at this stage of the game. You got to pick and choose your battles. Yeah.
There's an expression that actions speak louder than words, because just because you say something or you feel something, that is not necessarily a belief. I see people that are hypocritical all the time. There was something, good. What is Jack saying? Ego, personality, and beliefs are malleable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I see people that are really hypocritical. We have, I was reading a news article about this politician in the state of New York that is, he's all about road safety. Meantime, this character has gotten more than 80 traffic-related tickets.
Not parking tickets, right?
And he's big on the climate change thing. Meantime, he's driving two big old SUVs. So if you don't practice what you preach, you really have to question whether that's something that a person believes. I will understand more about what you truly believe by seeing how you act. You've heard it countless times. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, that makes me think about attitudes, because attitudes is the next part of this. And attitude is how you feel or think about people, places, or things, which could be kind of the hypocrisy thing. So it's a perfect segue. So you get credit for this segue, Matt.
Ding.
I don't know. Do I have sound effects in StreamYard? I don't know. I'm going to have to figure those out. I'm sure they're there somewhere. So anyhow, let's talk about attitudes. Now, an attitude is, I have a bad attitude, or you have a really positive attitude. Well, yeah, that's there. That's a feeling. But an attitude is more than that. It's when you see something, what's your attitude about it? When I see certain news stories, my attitude is usually of disbelief, because are you serious? No way. This can't be happening. What do you got?
Your attitudes are going to be colored by your beliefs.
Yep.
So certain people, I don't watch television news. I get my news from me doing my own proactive research. I don't let the news necessarily come to me except for, new information, and then I'll go and I'll do my own research. However, many people will choose the news outlet they want to get their news from because it aligns with their preconceived beliefs. And so your attitude about whether something is accurate or good or fair is going to be determined by what your beliefs are on that particular topic. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. I'm putting up some phrases here that, as you're talking, that match up to some of that. So the one on the screen right now is, an attitude can and may change over time slowly, but it can change suddenly when you're exposed to new and meaningful experiences, not just little tiny ones, but meaningful experiences such as informal or even formal education, because again, focusing on students. But if you see something, if you believe that a certain type of car can protect your life in an accident. Well, I saw one of those cars on the news today. There wasn't much left of it. Not at all. I think the rear tire was about the only thing that was left of it. I got a feeling they were going way too fast, like 200 miles an hour or something. But my belief was that car was supposed to be safe. Now that I saw that, I don't have all those extra pieces of information, but I go, that car's not safe. Well, once you find out the whole story, it wasn't the car, it was the speed. Which brings us to concepts. A concept is an idea that you have of how things work. So I have a concept that cell phones work in a specific way or a general way, depending on what they are. I believe that I have an attitude about a concept of how the internet works and how it shows me things that I've Googled, that I've looked at, that I've looked on Amazon, maybe that I've just said out loud that my phone picked up on in my landing page. So I have a basic concept of that. I have a pretty good concept of how education works. Matt, what do you think about concepts?
I don't have much of a concept for it.
Okay. Is that your belief or just an attitude?
I think it's my attitude. I'm getting hungry.
All right. So concept is the last thing. And basically, a concept can also be the combination of your beliefs and attitudes. And it just, again, it depends where you're at in life, what your perspective is, what your experience is. And there's a whole lot of things that go into it.
So what led us into this section was the idea of having a personal philosophy.
Yes.
And then the different aspects of personal philosophy. Like, for example, I've come to grow personal philosophies about myself. And these are rules that I want to hold myself accountable to. So, for example, many years ago, after having read Dale Carnegie's breakthrough book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I looked at myself and I looked at the people that were really influential to me in my life and who helped me become a better human being. And I made it one of my personal philosophies that when I interact with you, that I have a philosophy about it. My interest is I want you to like yourself more as a result of knowing me. And so I'm looking to be encouraging, complimentary. Look, people are starving for somebody to believe in them and put good vibes in their direction and pay them a compliment and encourage them. People are starving for encouragement. Yeah. We live in a world where everything is beating us down. And so I said, you know what? I don't want to be one of those people that's beating other people down. I want to be that light. And I've got another metaphor or a personal philosophy.
What's that?
One of the guys I consider him to be the greatest mentor that I ever had, talked about this himself. He talked about going and holding a candle in a dark cave, in a dark hallway. And I went, oh, I love this. Because here's what I hope to have is I want to get to be the candle holder. I want to be able to hold the light for other people that wind up stumbling across my dark little hallway. I know that I am not the light, but I get the opportunity to hold the light in service to other people, to enlighten their path as they go through. So my goal is that I want people to become enlightened as I hold the light while they're traveling in a dark and treacherous place.
That's great. Yeah, because we both kind of share that, and that we both want to help you make continuous improvements to accomplish all of your goals as you reach higher levels of success and good fortune in everything you do. Speaking of which, make sure you check out the videos on your screen right now on mine and Matt's. Where's yours at, Matt? It's over that way. Because that's the one that YouTube thinks you believe in, you have a good attitude about, and it offers good concept to you. We'll be seeing you online soon.